My name is Christina Freshman, and I have been using alternative wellness practices since 1992. And I'm a member of the Holistic Networkers Association, and I'm doing this small lecture today to help support their goal of educating the community. So I'll be talking about alternative wellness, but looking deeply at only two of them. First, let me talk about a little about me. I started in energy work in 1992, and that modality is called Reiki. And I studied to become a Reiki master teacher. And during that time, I was introduced to essential oils in 1996. It wasn't until 2001, though, that I found my real niche in alternative wellness practice, and that was through reflexology. Here I am, 18 years later, loving what I do. You may ask, what is alternative medicine? And my definition, it is someone that practices, or practitioners that look at the whole body. They look at what you eat, they look at your lifestyle, and they do not separate the body, mind, spirit part of ourselves. And they also look for root cause. Now, there's a wide range of alternative wellness modalities out there, and I'm just going to list a few to give you an idea. There's cranial sacral therapy, Reiki, and other energy healing modalities by numerous names. There's acupuncture, there's acupressure, lymphatic drainage, naturopathy or homeopathy, and of course what I do, reflexology and essential oils. So first, reflexology is a scientific method of applying pressure to the over 700 reflex points on your body. These points connect to various organs, glands, nerves, and etc. So when I do my work, sometimes people feel like a warm surge. They may feel it going up the leg, they may feel it come across their chest or down in their arm, and that's the meridians. Meridians go all over the body to connect you to everything. So when this technique is properly applied, it sends stimuli, in this case from the feet up through the body. And when you experience, or I feel, a tenderness at any spot, that may indicate you have congestion in that organ or gland. Reflexology can pretty much stand on its own, but there are times when people call me and they wait till they're in real pain, and when they call me, and that's when I pull out what I call the big guns. That's the essential oils. And essential oils, though, work differently. They work in a quantum way. And a quick example of quantum is, we all know magnets attract to one another. We can see the results of what happens with magnets. What you don't see is what makes that happen. That's the quantum aspect of just plain magnets. Now, there are several pathways to get essential oils into the body. One is through the lungs, the skin, the digestive tract, and hypodermic injection, which is reserved only for a licensed physician. There are two types of oils, therapeutic and non-therapeutic. The food or fragrance grade essential oils make up 95% of the market, and you only need 5 drops in a bottle to be labeled 100% essential oil. And you can thank the FDA for that ruling for us. Essential oils have a vital substance or essence of that plant material, and it's essential to the plant, and that's how we come up with the name essential oils. Essential oils are steam distilled, and that's another whole class another time, but they're steam distilled by using stems, flowers, leaves, roots, seeds, or other woody parts to come up with the essential oil. When an oil is applied to a person, because of how it's made, it allows oxygen in through the skin, which gets into the blood very quickly. And essential oils are also body cleansers. They chelate heavy metals. They help restore and maintain balance. They protect us from viruses, bacteria, parasites, and fungi. And they also help to alkalize the body versus medicine that brings more acid into the body and down the road may cause other illnesses to pop up. Now, the quantum effect of essential oils have what's called a homeostatic intelligence. The oil will go where it really is needed in the body to help with that maintenance and balance. Essential oil compounds are formed mostly in the form of benzene rings with short chains. And I've got a diagram to show you what a benzene ring looks like. You can see it's not a square, it's not a circle, it has points. At each point is a carbon atom, and that is attached to a hydrogen atom. And a short chain is these little lines outside the molecule. Of course, these molecules, just so you know, are drawn at least 10,000 times or so larger than what they actually are. The molecules are very, very small. And to show you the difference, down at the bottom, I have drawn what looks like a wiggly line. The wiggly line at each point is actually a carbon atom. And this is an example of a long chain in the form of a vegetable oil. Because the molecules, again, because they're small, that's why they're so effective. Their energy takes on properties of what looks like a standing wave with a high frequency and phase, or in plain English, matter becomes energy. And you might hear a practitioner say, oh, essential oils are so powerful, and I agree with that statement. But the power they're talking about, though, is really the chemistry of essential oils, and chemistry is everything to me now. Anyhow, quantum physics has to do with things that are too small to measure or feel with our five senses. A chemist would describe essential oil as a mixture of chemical compounds or vehicles of living energy. Now, we know, because it's been measured, the human mind can affect an essential oil through the electromagnetic frequency. An example of how this is done is through prayers, positive affirmation, positive thinking. Essential oils already have a frequency higher than our own body, and then by adding something changes the electromagnetic frequency, we make that essential oil even have a higher frequency. But also our minds can affect it adversely with negative thoughts to lower their frequency. The quantum answer when somebody asks, what can this oil do for me? Because you've given me example, it does this for that person, this for the other person. What can it do for me? And my response is, what do you want it to do for you? It depends on what you think, what your desire is, and that's what will take place in the body. Chemistry determines what is possible, but quantum physics determines which possibilities actually happen for you, actually happen in your body. Or in other words, a little bit plain English, chemistry we cannot change chemistry, but we can change through our thoughts the aspects of what will happen in our body. So the key here is the receiver, I need to repeat, the receiver must participate in their own healing. This is not only good just for essential oils, but any healing process that you want or you do have or you experience, you need to participate. That is really, really important. So I'd like to close with two stories for you. First story is I have a friend of mine that called me, and she waited till she was in extreme pain to call, and she knew better, but she called and said help. Had to go to her house because she didn't have a vehicle. She opened the door using one of those medical scooters. she waited till the pain not only hurt her foot, it was starting to come up her leg. And that's really waiting. So guess what? The big guns was in order. So I started working on her too. Reflexology helps me to define root cause. That's the main reason why I really like it. So root cause in this case, I touched her liver a little bit and it was pretty much out of balance. So I'm not her liver, apologize, kidneys, her left kidney. I went over to the right kidney and it was way more out of balance than the left one was. And I thought, well, let's just check the liver. I didn't do reflexology. I just barely touched her foot. She near jumped out of the chair as how much pain she was in. So root cause for her in this circumstance was kidneys and liver. So I knew she used essential oils because I really could not do reflexology at that point. So we talked about the oils, we talked about which oil was best, when to apply it, and etc. I asked her to use the oils for a week. I'll be back next week. When I came back, I could actually do reflexology on her, and I used the oils too. It took 4 sessions altogether for the oils and reflexology, bring her body back into balance. So the 4th time I actually worked on her, she answered the door without the scooter and could walk normally on both feet. That's why I use both modalities. Second story, worked on a gentleman, worked still on his feet. He owned a business, still on his feet 8 to 10 hours a day and usually 6 days a week, and stood on concrete. Anybody that's ever stood on concrete knows what that means. So when I worked on him for almost an hour, he actually was pretty healthy. His feet just hurt. Well, right at the end, he announces, oh, I have plantar fasciitis. And I thought, oh, I wish you would have told me earlier. Didn't matter. Stopped what I was doing, pulled out my oils. For research, I come up with 3 special oils and special stretching techniques for plantar fasciitis. So I worked on him an extra 20 minutes to make sure the work I did would take hold. So when he got stood up, he did kind of like this with his feet, and he said, feels pretty good. So this was several years ago. I didn't know about this thing called follow-up. But I did ask him to call me when the pain came back or when he started to feel bad. So he never called. I did see him 30 days later. Ran over to him. Couldn't wait to find out what the answer was. And so I was just surprised at what he said. He said, by the time I got home, the pain was gone. And I forgot all about it. I forgot I ever had fasciitis, and that's why I forgot to call you. Wow. Oh, I was so excited. It was almost unbelievable. So I was at a meeting, so I controlled myself, turned around, but smiled from ear to ear. And I just knew, and I thank God, and knew that what I used was effective. It was just more effective than what I gave those modalities credit for. So I hope you could see why I do the 2 modalities, how beautifully they work together. And so I do have a 4-part article on my website. It's kind of long. I don't ask you to read the whole thing. It's explaining mainly essential oils. But if you would go to my website, the last part 4, second to last paragraph, I have an analogy of essential oils and music. I did not author that. A PhD chemist authored that. His name is Dr. David Stewart. And I ask you to read that because he puts together so concisely what I'm talking about. Please visit my website and Facebook. The links are on my video. And again, thank you.